everybody, it's Steve. I've made progress on a layout that I'll be donating to my son's school silent auction here in a few weeks. And so I'll do an update on that. And we're also going to run the first train on it. And I've elected to use this Bachmann, Durango, and Silverton set for the locomotive and rolling stock for this little layout. I'll also use a controller in here for the power supply as well. And so we'll go ahead and get that going on here. And then we'll take a look to how I got the layout to this point. Okay, so again, I'm going to use this Durango and Silverton set for the rolling stock on this layout. We'll go ahead and get this opened up. You can see here how the set comes when you buy it. I'll have a link to it below if you want to get one for yourself, but you get your directions in the kind of manual in the back. And then you have a few selections of the Bachmann Easy Track, which I don't ever really use. You have your controller here. You have a combine and 2 passenger cars, as well as an 060 steam engine. So we'll go ahead and get this out, get it on the track here, and see how it runs. Get the controller, which I just dropped out of the box here. And I'll go ahead and get the combine and passenger cars added. So I do not want to couple easily on the sharp curves. Probably gonna have to go ahead and swap these out with some micro trains couplers. Otherwise, whoever gets this layout, if they're using this rolling stock, they're just gonna like cry trying to get these cars coupled together. Okay, so this layout started out as a simple 24-inch diameter tabletop board, which I picked up from Home Depot, and then I layered on top of that some 1-inch thick insulation board, obviously cut to the size of a tabletop. And from there, I went ahead and did some basic scenery carving. I kind of placed the track on top of there to kind of get an idea of where I was going to have that located. And then I carved out a valley for a river, as well as a road parallel to that, at least on one area. And then I kind of stacked on some additional foam to sort of mock up where I was going to have a tunnel on one side of the layout. And the foam was all attached using liquid nails for projects adhesive, as well as some nails that kind of help hold everything together while the glue was drying. However, because I do have a tunnel on the one side, I did have to make sure that the top layer of that tunnel was not attached right off the bat, so I'd actually be able to get inside of there, do some scenery work, do some painting and ballasting and so forth where the track is inside the tunnel. So once I had everything basically layered up, I used a hot wire cutting tool to trim off some of the side areas to get all that smooth, as well as some of the basic landforms. And then I used my Stanley Sureform tool to also carve out the scenery to get it roughly the way I wanted it. So now that everything was carved out the way I wanted it, I mixed up some sculptamold, added some brown paint to it, and then applied that in the tunnel area to get everything kind of coated in there so I could go ahead and finish off the scenery in that part of the layout. And then I went ahead and added the leftover sculptamold in the surrounding terrain areas to get work completed on that. And I had to make up some additional batches of sculptamold, again adding paint to each batch, and then gradually covered all of the terrain areas with the sculptamold to provide a nice base level of scenery. I also added some sculptamold to the top portion of the top part of the mountain. I didn't want to add anything onto the sides yet. That basically would wait until I actually glued the top part of the mountain down to the lower section of the layout. So once the sculptamold was dry, I went ahead and sanded everything and also added paint to some areas of the layout where the track was going to be in place, so I could go ahead and get the track added on and not have to worry about painting around it, at least initially. And then I tried to drill and carve out some openings for wires to pass through to the side of the layout from the 2 structures I'll have that will be lighted, as well as the track power. And so then it was time to go ahead and glue down the track. Again, using Kata Unitrack here. The track is a mixture of 8.5 and 9 3/4 radius curves. Also a couple short straight sections. I'll have one of those be where the little station is. And then for track power, I use the Kato rail joiners. I have the wires attached to them. Basically just popped out 2 of the rail joiners on existing areas of track and replace that with the unit joiners that have the wires attached, and that basically would supply track power to the loop of track. I only have one set of power leads going to the track. I'm going to go ahead and solder some of the rail joints though, and that will also help to improve connectivity during the life of the layout. So once I had the wires attached to the track, I finished gluing down the track. And then once that was done, I went ahead and ballasted the portion of the track inside the tunnel so I could go ahead and attach on the top portion of the mountain area. Before that was done, I went ahead and cleaned the track with some alcohol to make sure it was at least reasonably clean before getting sealed off. And then I also hot glued on the tunnel portals on each side of the tunnel. Once that was in place, I used some more hot glue and attached the top portion of the mountain. And then I mixed up some more sculptamold, again, adding some paint to the mix, and then applied that on all the mountain areas that didn't already have it, as well as using that to also help hold the top portion of the mountain down to the lower portion. And then by this point, I had everything pretty much covered in sculptamold and ready for the next scenery phases. And from this point on, the scenery should go pretty quickly. It'll just be a matter of doing some more painting and rock work, as well as applying ground foam and static grass and dirt, and then quite a few trees to the layout, and getting the structures glued down, and of course ballasting the track to make that look a little bit better. And so that should all progress pretty quickly, but I'll have the remainder of the scenery work in the next video. So there you have it, some progress on the little layout that I'm building to donate to the silent auction at my son's school. So I think I'm going to be in pretty good shape to get this done. It's a pretty simple layout. Just a couple of these little Woodland Scenics built up structures added in that have the lights installed. So I'll be getting those added. And then just basically some simple scenery. It's just going to be, I'll have a little creek through here, and then just basically forest, and that's about it everywhere else. Doing typical static grass and that kind of thing as well. So pretty basic layout, pretty easy, pretty fast to do. Do have to ballast the track and as well, but that should go pretty fast. Again, small little layout. So again, just a couple of weeks to go until I have to get this done for the silent auction at my son's school. So hopefully I will get it done in time. I think I should. I should be able to probably get this done in just a couple of evenings and weekend afternoons, I think at this point. So hopefully everything will go smoothly with no big snags. And again, I'll have a video in a couple of weeks, hopefully, on this layout once everything is wrapped up and you can see the final product. So anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.